Glory to Jesus Christ. When the sun rises triumphant and lovely as a bridegroom. It looks small, the sun, but it possesses enormous power. It appears in the east and scatters its rays as far as the west. Indeed, describing the dawn, the psalmist says, "The sun comes forth like a bridegroom, leaving his chamber, and like a strong man runs its course with joy." Psalm 19. Yes, triumphant, and yet lovely and gentle, exactly like a bridegroom. It shows itself to everyone. Then at midday, we very often have to take shelter because it is a burning hot. But at its rising, it is like a bridegroom, and it fills us with joy. Now study the order it observes, although this comes not from itself, but from the one who originally fixed its course. You see how it behaves in summer. By rising higher in the sky, it makes the days longer and gives people more time to work. In winter, on the other hand, it shortens its course so that the cold season may pass quickly, and the nights may lengthen out to give relief to human beings, and equally to the earth, which in this way can prepare an abundant harvest. As a result, you see how perfect is the order in which the days and nights alternate. In summer, long days and short nights. In winter, the reverse. While in spring and autumn, the duration of the light and of the darkness is the same. The psalmist says, "Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge." Psalm 19. You might say that through the song of their behavior, day and night are proclaiming that the one God is He who has created all things and keeps them in being. Saint Cyril of Jerusalem, Catecheses. This beautiful passage from Saint Cyril is attracting us and is speaking to our most inner understanding and comprehension of the nature around us. It is again, just like yesterday's reading from St. John Chrysostom, it is a hymn of praise. Praise to God, praise to His creation. It is also a praise of thankfulness. It explains their understanding of how perfectly the system of the length of day is working for the people, how perfectly the nature is wrapped in the glory of God. Well, there is a question that we can go into after reading these beautiful literary passages, these hymns of glory. Ours. We are part of creation as well. There is more that can be said. We are at the top of the creation. We are the most perfect being. We were created on the last day of creation. We were created as the crown jewel to the creation. Of course, then we know the story of the original sin and how evil, and more specifically death, in its many forms, entered the world. And it entered through human original sin, it entered our lives in many forms: sins, weaknesses, illnesses, misunderstanding, lack of knowledge. All these things are coming from that original sin. But still, look at ourselves. Let's look at a human being, and not any human, theoretical human being. Let every one of us look at ourselves. And we have to understand that we are really the crown jewel of entire creation. This is how God sees us. We are the most perfect being in this creation. This is how God intended us to be. Are our lives as balanced and as perfect as we see in this reading? Saint Cyril of Jerusalem sees complete perfection in the nature around us. But he also, through this passage, invites us to seek, not to see, but to seek perfection of the same sort in our spiritual lives. A balance then between the material, the bodily, and the spiritual. It is a great invitation for each and every one of us to look at ourselves and look for perfection inside us. It's there. God placed it there. Because when He creates everything perfect. And we are the most perfect of His perfect creation. Of course, there is evil, and we will be making some more readings and meditating about the role of original sin as such, and then where does the evil come into this creation, when it comes, and what are its effects, and how to distinguish evil in ourselves and outside of ourselves. But before we do that, this is a very important thing to do daily. When we do our daily meditations, when we do even a simple Our Father, think of yourself as a perfect being. At least God sees us like that. We might not be perfect. No, we are not perfect. But there is perfection in us, the one that God placed in us when He created. When people look at us and they will say something about us, will they be able to sing such a hymn of praise as we hear from Saint Cyril? Well, that's where we want to arrive. That's how we want to become. So that when people look at us, they will be able to say, this is a perfect God's creation. Glory to